Hello, I'm Dylan Lockwood. I'm the online content editor at Z-Prime. I'm here at the ACL Moody Theater for ETS19. We have thought leaders from all over the energy industry here to talk about key issues and solutions. I have here with me Judith Schwartz. She is the president of To The Point. How are you doing today, Judith?
I am great. I'm having a great time here.
You enjoying the conference?
Yeah, and I am. It's very lively and different, and I think it's a very distinctive event.
So, Judith, the theme of ETS19 is Love Your Energy. What does that mean to you, and how do you embody that in the work you do?
Well, I'd like to think that I love the work I do. So one of the reasons that I got into this area was that I felt that sustainability was important, and it was important to be able to make an impact on the world. And I came out of high tech, and it didn't have quite the same emphasis as so what I found when I got into it, there were all these great people in the utility industry who really cared about their work, who were trying to do a good job, but what was missing was they didn't really understand how to talk to customers as real people. And so one of the things that has been exciting for me in the decade of working in this space is now hearing people on your stage get up and talk about all these things that I thought were so important that needed to be there, giving customers choices, not understanding that not everybody wants the same things and you have to target how you speak to different people, listening to them, having lots of stakeholder engagement, customer engagement activities, so you actually are getting back what the people care about, and it's very gratifying to see that, as well as looking at solutions for decarbonization.
Yeah, so customer centricity has been a major driving force of a lot of the talks here. What are some of the other trends you're noticing that are important for the future of the energy industry?
So one of the things that I was very pleased to hear people talking about was how much they were looking at data and all the different things that here we have these new technologies that are generating a tsunami of data. Okay, there's all this information that didn't exist a few years ago, and understanding both what it means to allow access and sharing, whether it's within the organizations or whether it's with third-party companies who are going to be using that data to provide an insight for customers or for the utility. One of the things that I also heard a lot of the speakers in different sessions talking about was the need to protect customer information and to be conscious of that in how things are designed, and whether it's vendors that you're working with or whether it's applications that the utilities are doing themselves. And I think that I've seen programs like DOE's Data Guard initiative as being very important and an answer to what a lot of these people are saying is the challenge. So rather than having to reinvent the wheel of what do we do, okay, as I heard someone say, we're trying to figure it out, using the voluntary code of conduct that the Data Guard initiative, which is an industry designed initiative, following those practices will already give you a leg up, because if you follow those practices, you'll be good to go for Europe and you'll be good to go for California. So that's an important thing. One of the things I saw, I asked the question of one of the panelists who is from a utility that is obviously doing a good job protecting and being aware of how to be responsible for their customers' data. And I asked them, how do the customers know you're doing such a good job? And she went through a fairly elaborate explanation of what she says they tell them, and I'm thinking, well, that would be too long, I think, to give someone that answer. But if she showed the Data Guard logo that then could be communicated to their audiences that, hey, if you see the Data Guard logo, that means that this company, whether it's the vendor's third-party software or whether it's the utility itself, they are taking every reasonable precaution. And I think in this day and age, where you're always hearing about this data breach and that problem, or Facebook is giving it to Cambridge Analytica and the CEO is getting hauled off in front of Congress, that utilities do a good job for the most part. And so why not let your customers know you're doing a good job? And the companies that you're working with who are doing all these innovative applications, again, if they display the logo mark on their sites and with their products, then again, partners and customers can know that these are safe.
Yeah, you said you had a question at a panel. I think you've had a question at almost every panel that's allowed questions. So you have clearly have a lot of passion for this industry. What are some of your currently unanswered questions you hope to hear more about over the course of the conference?
So what I would love to hear more about is how this transition to a decarbonized economy is really going to happen. I think that it's very easy to do the aspirational goals and the hand waving and that sort of thing. But the reality of the technology, a lot of these goals are slogans that are supposed to happen in 12 years. Well, this industry doesn't move that quickly, okay? And we are not going to get to 100% renewables or 100% zero carbon or whatever in 12 years. It just isn't realistic. So I would love to see some discussion that really digs into how are they going to do the transitions and how are they going to communicate their progress to the legislators and regulators who are making these goals, as well as to the public, to say, we are doing reasonable things, but hey, don't you want the lights on at night?
That's a very good point. What do you think is the biggest takeaway from the conference?
I would say the biggest takeaway is that there are really innovative utilities who are doing a good job, who really are showing that they care about their customers and they are doing the right things. Because one of the things that I've learned is that the techniques that work, okay, work everywhere. And they work whether you're a big utility, a small utility, a municipality, an IOU, you're in rural, the techniques work. Now, what you say may be very targeted to the locale, the person, the group that they're involved in. And so if people understand that distinction, they can use this technology that's available to reach customers in a very effective way. And so I hope this spreads to more companies and that they come to your events and hear this story.
We certainly hope so too. Thank you very much for being here, Judith. We appreciate you sitting down and talking to us and for participating in the conference.
Thanks very much.